So I'm working on getting my horses back into shape, and I'm so excited to be showing you guys kind of my process. I always start with groundwork basics. All of my horses have had different levels of knowledge whenever I've gotten them, and so I always start with the same basic groundwork techniques and principles, and I use them as my basis, and I make sure all of my horses know them, and I always start there to refresh. And so that's what I'm gonna do today. And so you'll be probably seeing me doing these exercises with my horses. And so I wanted to run you through what they are and what the goal of each of one of them is. Eden here is gonna be our model today because she is just perfection at these skills. We're gonna start with flexion because it's really good for the ground, getting them light as you tell them things, and it translates awesome into saddle things as well. And so with flexion, you're looking at exercising their neck as well as their back. And you do it on both sides because you always want to exercise both sides. And so Eden's a pro here. So what I do is I put my hand on their withers with most of the rope. So you very gently ask them to turn, and Eden gives it right to me. You saw there is no resistance on that pole. I'm not yanking her. So I just ask for it real lightly. I say, can I have your nose? And I bring my hand to the top of her withers. And the goal is that they relax their neck and they can come and touch their side. This helps them get really loose in their neck as well as in their back, and helps them get their head down, which is the goal. You don't want them all stressed. You want them with their head nice and down. Next is yielding their hindquarters. So this is their hindquarters, their back legs, their butt, the back half of their back. And so whenever you yield their hindquarters, you're getting them, their legs moving, getting them to think. So we face the other way. You want to stay right on their shoulder. I make sure their head is slightly towards me with this hand. Because if her head is turned this way, she can move the way I need her to. You want her whole body working together. Again, you do both sides. So with my kids, with my horses, I give them the cue. So I ask for their head slightly. Eden's dramatic. I ask for their head slightly, and then I point to where I want their body to move, and I use my body language and my intention to tell them to move their back legs. So. You want their back legs moving more than their front legs, and the ultimate goal is that the inside back leg steps in. The ultimate goal is that the inside back leg steps over the outside back leg. I'm happy with that. I also need my horses to be able to go backward and forward very easily and very lightly on command, and so we practice our backing up skills. So for the backup cue, I face up with her to where my body is straight in front of her body, and then the cue I use is I very gently wiggle the rope, and I start with a very gentle wiggle, and then if they don't respond, my wiggle grows until it's bigger and bigger. Usually they respond lightly, but sometimes to remind them you gotta get very big and dramatic, and then eventually you can just do a teeny tiny wiggle. She's so perfect.
Look at their little tongue licks.
I know. So lastly, we have lunging, and it's a skill that a lot of horses know, and my horses have varying levels of enjoyment for lunging. And lunging can be used for a lot of different reasons. You can use it for exercise, and just tons and tons of reasons, more than just that. But I use it as a way to kind of gauge where my horses are at, as well as respect. If they're like lame, I want to see how their body moves. It's great for that. But I use it a lot for communication, seeing where they're at, me talking to them, where are their feet going, where are my feet going, and really getting them to understand when I'm asking them something lightly, and then they can give me what I want, and we can go from there. So before I ask them to walk, trot, canter in a lunge, I have them just walk one direction, and then I ask for a big stop, and I see how they're respecting the stop, and then we go the other way, and they stop, other way, and stop. And so that way I'm testing. They know which direction I'm asking them to go, and they listen to what direction I'm asking them to go, and I'm watching for how they stop, making sure that they're watching me and not just guessing what I want. the hind legs moving out so that when I ask them to stop, that's the same motion they're doing. We need them to back up because often I need them to push out or in that circle, and I tell them with the rope. But when we start, I have them back up to start. And then by going both directions, that pointing and telling them where to go and when to stop, that all comes together into lunging and makes it not a big fight, makes it a nice little communication, a little warm up. Just so many wonderful purposes come out of being able to gently, calmly, quickly lunge your horse. And they need to know those basic skills in order to put it all together into one thing. Put your questions in the comments if something didn't make sense or was confusing, or if you want more information. I love to teach, I love to train. Let me know what you want to learn and I would love to show you.